Let us discuss about checkpoints of the process now. So we'll try to understand what is a checkpoint here. So checkpoint is nothing but it is a way of adding fault tolerance to your project. So this will help you in understanding what are the faults that you have come across throughout your project development. So checkpoints will help you out in understanding this checkpoint. In order to understand your checkpoints, you are supposed to place some milestones. So milestones are nothing but these are a way of storing the status of your project or the status of your project at each and every phase. So whenever you are working with your checkpoints, your milestones will play a major role. So here, in order to understand your milestones, you are supposed to place your milestones which are visible to all the stakeholders and all the developers of the project. So these milestones will help you out in understanding the progress of your project throughout the life cycle. So this will also help you, there are different operations or there are different functionalities provided to your milestones. First, it will help you out in synchronizing the stakeholders' expectations. So what are the expectations of the stakeholders? Whether your milestone has reached those expectations or not will be understood by if you place some milestone on your project. Next, it will also help you in understanding or synchronizing whether your base architecture of your project is in line with your artifacts related to your project development or not. Next, it will also help you in understanding, like your checkpoints and milestones will help you out in understanding what are the potential risks associated with your project and how to overcome those potential risks and under which conditions this potential risks will arise will be understood by your milestones. Next, it will also help you out in performing a review at each and every phase or the review throughout your project after the complete project development. So these are the basic advantages or basic advantages of your milestones. Fine. So there are basically three different milestones available. First is your major milestone, second is your minor milestone, and third is your status assessments. So first we'll try to understand what are these major milestones. So major milestones are conducted at the end of each and every phase here. So each and every phase your major milestone is going to be conducted. So there are basically four different major milestones available. So first is your life cycle objectives milestone. So this life cycle objectives milestone is conducted at the end of your elaboration inception phase. So here the aim of this particular objective is simply to understand whether your project requirements are in line with your project development or not. Next, you go with your life cycle architecture milestone. So this life cycle architecture milestone is conducted at the end of your elaboration phase. So here the base requirement of your second milestone, that is your life cycle architecture milestone, is simply to understand whether you have created your design as per the customer requirements or not, and the design is in line with your artifacts that are taken in from your previous step. If the milestones of the requirements of your project and the requirements of your customer are fully satisfied, then your milestone is taken as success and they will be documented and your project development will go with your next phase. And third milestone is your initial operational capability milestone. So here this is this is milestone which occurs late in the construction phase. So in this particular model, in this particular milestone, the major focus is on the development of your project here, whether the codes which you are designing are in line with your architecture or not. So, and the last is your project release milestone. This occurs at the end of your transition phase. So project release is once your project development has completed, so the deployment of your project comes into this particular milestone. If any errors occur at any particular point of your milestone, you can just go back to that particular point and restart the functionality only from that particular point. So this is the major advantage of your milestone. So rather than restarting from the very scratch of your project development, your milestones will help you out in restarting your work only from the point or from the state where your previous activity was actually stored. So that is about your major milestones. So these are the different stakeholders related to your major milestones: customers, users, architects, developers, maintainers, and others include the reviewers or the feedbacks which you take from your different people, right? So these are the different milestones what we have already discussed in the just now. Life cycle objective milestone, architecture milestone, operational milestone, and project release milestone, right? So this project release milestone will help you out in understanding whether your next iteration is required or not. Second type of milestones we have is your minor milestones. So minor milestones, they occur at least once or twice in each and every major milestone. So these are the milestones which are conducted from, so your minor milestone period is actually ranging from 1 to 6 months. So within this 1 to 6 months, you can plan around 1 or 2 different milestones for your minor milestones, which you can actually see here. So when you go with your minor milestones, for each and every phase, you can have at least 1 or 2 different milestones available. So these 1 or 2 different milestones, they are actually divided into 2 different parts again. First is your iteration readiness review, and second is your iteration assessment review. So in your readiness review, after gathering all your requirements, this particular review is going to focus on whether your project development is ready for its development or not. So whether your requirements or the design what you have made is ready for its development or not, or any further modifications are required, will be taken under your iteration readiness review. When you go with your assessment review, this is going to focus majorly on the functionality of your each and every iteration release. So once your iteration baseline was done, so when you go with when your development is done successfully, so this will focus on whether your project release is working in line with your customer requirements or not. So these are the different milestones which can be held once in every 2 months or throughout a period of your milestone. You can conduct 2 different reviews here, right? So for each and every iteration, so under this iteration N, first iteration and second iteration related to your assessments are taken, and here within this complete iteration we are going to make throughout your reviews here. So first is your iteration readiness, and second is your iteration design part. So this way you are going to perform your minor milestones activities. Basically you work on 2 different types of assessments. And third is periodic status assessments. So periodic status assessments provides you what is the status of your project. So this can be in your project development, this is actually performed for every periodic time, or for every 1 month, or once in your for every 1 month. This particular periodic assessment will be taken into consideration. So when you go with this particular diagram, you can understand your periodic assessments. So these are the periodic assessments which are taken into consideration. So these periodic assessments will help you out in understanding whether the project release at that particular period is meeting the customer expectations or not. So this will also help you in synchronizing your requirements and synchronizing your assessments in line with your customer requirements. So these particular status assessments will help the developer in understanding whether your project is released as per the requirements generated by the customer. So this will also help you in understanding the final release of your project, and whether your project has met all the expectations and the final release is going to be generated, or any other further modifications can be taken. All these points will be discussed by your status assessments. So these are the different types of milestones that are available in your project development. So So this is also helping you out in understanding how you are going to disseminate your process to different stakeholders, how you are going to plan your project, how you are going to design your project, and all. What are the quality related to your project. So these are the different assessment reviews that can be taken into consideration. First is your personal, any particular personal related to your project development will take this assessment. Financial trends relates to what is the cost associated with each and every assessment will be taken. What are the risks involved in your project development and how they can be overcome. What is the progress of your project at each and every state, and whether your major milestones were met. What are the plans provided by your major milestones, and what are the results that are obtained after successfully completing your major milestones. Then what could be the complete scope of your project. So all these will be taken as default assessment review for each and every period. So this is all about your different types of checkpoints and milestones. Let us meet in your next lecture. Thank you.